Hello. I know a lot of you were waiting. I saw some of you guys waiting in the comments. Yeah, we took our time. It was scheduled for 7. So sorry we're a bit late, but thank you for waiting. Before we really go into it, I just want to introduce everyone. Karen, Z, Norm, George,
Yo.
Norm, George, and Willow.
How we doing?
Oh yeah, go on, Willow. You're gonna say something?
No, I was saying how we doing.
Oh yeah, I'm good. But yeah, Arsenal have played. We didn't talk about it. We're gonna touch on that. Arsenal's the first game of the weekend as well. We're gonna touch on that. And obviously the news of the week, the news of the day is Cristiano Ronaldo has returned home, as they're painting that story. Ronaldo's home. What do you guys think of Ronaldo coming home to Manchester United?
I think it's a waste of resources, if I'm being honest. I don't want to be. The thing is, though, it's nostalgia. Like, oh, it's amazing. Ronaldo's coming home, and they will make a lot of money from it, which you're like, fair enough. They're going to make a lot of money, but what if we're going off of a actually footballing sense and what they need to do to win the league? Ronaldo is not what they need to do to win the league. They've got strikers. They've got Greenwood, Cavani can go up front. What they needed was a DM. So they've got Ronaldo, and it's great for their fans. They're happy. He hasn't gone to City, so they don't need to burn all their Ronaldo shirts and get their pitchforks out. But is it what they need to win the league? Absolutely not.
I've seen a lot of weird stuff.
Unfair.
Go ahead, Z.
No, I'm just thinking it's unfair, man, because I feel like personally, like, we shouldn't overlook the signing of Ronaldo again, because you do not know what kind of boost that does to the team, for the squad, and the morale. That signing could literally push them to the league. I think we are over analyzing the fact that we might need a DM or a right back. You cannot take away the fact that someone like Ronaldo will be a massive indictment to the team. Honestly, I can't.
He might be able to boost spirits, but Fred in the midfield. I mean, he might be able to boost spirits. I know what you mean. And, get the motivation up.
United's problem was not scoring goals last year. United's problem was midfield control and right back. And the issues for me, when you have McTominay, Fred, Pogba, and Matic as your pivot options, with what they have right now, because Ronaldo will push somebody outside of the starting lineup. That's a guarantee he's going to start. And so for me, the issue that I've got for United is cool that you guys, it's nostalgia, whatever you want to do it. I'm not excited. I love the man. I want him to come in. He put a lot of childhood memories on me, but just factually and structurally, United are going to be a lot more open, and it's going to rely on the fitness of McTominay. McTominay gets injured. That team has some serious injury issues. And for me, they were much better recruiting a Tchouaméni and a Karim Adeyemi. Somebody like that, an outlet right wing to complement Sancho, to put him on the left. Right now, Sancho impacts Rashford. Ronaldo impacts Rashford. He impacts Sancho. And how do you fit all of these people in one lineup? I don't know. With Cavani, it doesn't make sense to put $480K a week on a 36-year-old, soon to be 37-year-old. That doesn't solve a major hole in your squad, because those were major issues for them. So, I mean, I'm happy for them if that's what it is, but to say it pushes them to win the league, I don't know. I think they haven't fixed their major hole that they should have fixed, and it's going to cause huge wage issues. David De Gea style 2.0, if they're willing to give a 36, 37-year-old $480K a week, and their youngsters that they need contracts aren't going to be asking for wage increases, aren't going to be asking for major contracts, because they've given almost $500K a week to a 37-year-old. What do you think the new Holland or the new Sancho is going to come in and demand, knowing that that's the precedent? I don't know. I think it's very scary. I don't think it was smart. And I think they could have done a lot better with a Tchouaméni for far more cheaper, not as flashy, but would have fixed their team 10 times more than Ronaldo.
The thing is with this signing is their midfield. They're going to go 4-3-3, and they're going to go one of McFred at 6, and they're going to go Bruno and Pogba dual 8s, and it's not going to work. It's just going to be so open. They're going to be overrun in midfield, and it's going to be very. That's a good point, guys. It's the Tom Brady model. It's sort of just like, we're going to buy the best in the world, and we know.
Is he? Can we say that?
No, but this is the thinking. I don't think he's the best in the world. The thinking is that you're going to bring in the model is you bring in the best in the world at that position, and he's not the best in the world. He's not the best striker in the world. It's not
Kurt,
even
I
close.
understand if it was Lewandowski, by the way.
Yeah,
Someone
if
that's
it's
still
Le-
in their pop, or if it's somebody
if
like
it's
that.
if it's
I don't know about
Lewandowski,
Ronaldo.
even Benzema, I would take, but not Ronaldo, not now. Like, if it was Lukaku, Benzema, Lewandowski, Haaland, one of those guys, Mbappe, sure, but it's not, and
I genuinely think
they
this
have
is
no runners.
really-
This is a problem.
I genuinely think this is really, really bad for them in both the short and the long term. This is the first time that I've seen a move where they were very clearly baited on nostalgia and
Yeah,
trying to
super
drive
baited.
the narrative.
Mm.
It was the same story that Fred and how they acquired Fred. It was the exact same way. And I really, really think they've made a big, big error. And it's frustrating because I feel that United have the makings of an absolute super team. And I don't say that lightly. They have so many cogs. If they don't put Sancho and Shaw together, then it's a travesty. That is the best in the league, arguably. That partnership right there is the best in the league. Facts. And
Mm.
when you buy a Ronaldo, when you buy a Varane, and Sancho, I love him. That was probably the best piece of business I've seen almost in the Premier League. That's how much I love Sancho, by the way. But to get Ronaldo when your holes were DM, when Pogba on the last year of his contract, by the way, I don't know if everyone's forgetting this, but like their pivot options are a Matic. McTominay is injured, by the way, I believe already.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he had surgery this week.
okay, there we go. So how's that fitness going to go? And then you've got Fred, and those are your pivot options. I don't know, for a
Are
title
they even
challenge.
going to play pivot? Are they
Of
even
course
going
they
to play
are, Curran.
pivot?
They don't have the
They've
age
been
to
playing
do it.
pivot so far, but I think with this Ronaldo thing, the main thing we've all praised Oli for the frontline balance. The frontline balance. He always gets it correct. And I think bringing in Ronaldo removes any chance of someone like Greenwood probably playing striker in the league if he's fit. So it's going to be Ronaldo striker. So and Rashford has rushed himself back into training. So Rashford
And
or
that ends
someone
well.
else will play. So I would love to see how he deals with the balance of the front line, because someone's going to have to miss out a lot more than they would if Ronaldo didn't come. I think if they were to get a striker, I don't think Ronaldo is the right type of striker they should have got, to be honest. I thought maybe like a Harry Kane or someone like that.
They
'Cause the
need
money
not even Harry
giving-
Kane. They need runners. They don't have runners. They have Sancho, who's a great runner, and then they have who else?
I think
they have
Rashford is the runner.
I don't know. I think they
Sancho
got
is more
outlets.
the creator.
I'll be honest. I think they got outlets, but they just bought another outlet when, for me, they needed a
Yeah.
lot more midfield control, and they needed more at the right back. I mean, the biggest thing that I've heard from talking to United and even watching them quite a bit is, look, I actually think Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets a hard time, by the way. I think it's actually ridiculous that people just label him as a defensive duel monster. He's improved a lot offensively, and I think he's a project signing that he absolutely will get there in the end. But this idea that, if you're going to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka settle a little bit deeper, who doesn't make the greatest decisions in the final third, with Sancho, who needs the space of an overlapping fullback, it really is a travesty that you're not at least providing a right back that can do that. And granted, they can go and get, Trippier tomorrow, and this could not be a problem. But factually, I still think that Ronaldo and the idea of him is going to hinder their transfer plans, not even just now, but in the future. And I think it's very naive to think that just because they're rich, they don't follow rules of squad management. In fact, there was a sell to buy policy for the entirety of this last couple of weeks, and the only reason they've pulled their money out the bag is because it's Ronaldo, because they've had Glazer approval, and this idea of them having to sell to buy will be a problem for the next 3-4 years, because Ronaldo not only brings his wage, but he then rises the tide on every youngster looking to make it. Do you think when Sancho's ready for a contract extension in probably 2 years, because he's going to smash it, let's have that right, but when he
He's
does,
250 right now.
Yeah, you're telling me he's not going to demand 500? Well, it's 100% going to happen. And so it's like, when you tie up your resources like that and you make these moves, it's a big reason why personally I'm not a fan of recruiting the superstars in a team. I'm really not, because I think it ruins your position financially regardless of your ability to outspend your way, because wage and structure and dressing room dynamics are very, very different to money.
They've already felt the impact of it, because with obviously De Gea was the first, well, he was probably the second one after Sanchez, but De Gea got the 375k a week, and then when they brought Henderson back to compete with De Gea, he asked for, I think it's like 130
140, I think it is.
on
Yeah.
a 6-year deal as a backup. So they do these massive contracts for people in their squad, which is why they struggle to sell probably more than us because of the wages. Like guys like Phil Jones, who
Lingard now.
Phil Jones is not even in the squad and they can't sell him.
Mhm.
So, but I want to bring up this comment because I saw this comment. I'm like, why would we bring back Sanchez or Ramsey to give them 400k a week if they don't exponentially improve us? Like I think that's a mad waste of money to bring back a.
Especially as we've been labelled a retirement home in recent years. What a bloody hell would you
Yeah.
want to bring home to?
No, but
injury
you know what,
prone-
Willow, it's a worthy debate because you know what? I don't know. I'll let other people. I kind of spoke my mind on this transfer, but I'm seeing craziness on the timeline. In my opinion, craziness. But that when somebody of Ronaldo's ilk is available, you buy him, no questions asked. And
No.
I guess I asked the question, like, how much of this is nostalgia and how much of this is factually backing that up? Because for me, they bought their superstar, Sancho. So surround him properly. You bought your project. You brought your generational signing. Why are you going to get an experienced has-been who
But
will
as I
do
said,
well?
that's why I think
but-
it's more business related. It's not just to do with the football. Like, I even saw something that said apparently United is up in they're up by about 7% since they bought Ronaldo in or something like that, and the shirt sales
7.4%.
7.4% exactly, which equates to a lot of money. The shirt sales, the brand deals is much more from a business. Like even though it's a lot of money Ronaldo's going to be on, he's also going to bring a lot of money in. So I can understand it from a business like that point of view. But as you said, the squad management it fucks it up. It fucks the wages up, and I just don't think it's that great.
The thing
Yeah.
is, right? It's very much look. If you look at how they build up, and you look at the way that they're going to try and build up, that Ronaldo is going to be in a transition-heavy team. Do you really think at 36 years old you want to put Ronaldo? You guys are all on Twitter. I'm off Twitter for now, but I'm sure you've all seen the "it ain't easy" meme with the guy sweating down. That's going to be Ronaldo this season. He's just going to be. Doesn't have that pace, that electricity to actually be able to hit that transition game as much as Ollie needs him to. And you need someone that does that in this team because they
It was
are so.
a reactive thing from United to sign him because even today,
It happened in a day.
Rio Ferdinand was very happy and he went live on his channel, and I was watching for a bit and he said something like, "Well, we haven't seen what Woodward had to do with the deal. He couldn't sit back and just see Ronaldo go to Man City." So it was a reaction to the City deal, like really becoming serious, proper serious. But it's how United are. They sign names and the story is great. I'll give them that. The story of getting back one of your greatest ever players at the end to end it where he started it is a great storyline. And it will earn them money, but I just think the certain implications aren't enough for them to really do this.
I mean, I think it's time it's time we realize that United are not really looking at this in terms of. I mean, look at the timeline. It took like less than a day to sign the guy. It's not like they had a plan for him or something.
Yeah.
And speaking of plans, we should transition now to our plan for Arsenal. Look at that's a beautiful transition, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
It's so in terms of what's going on with Arsenal right now, I think we start with West Brom, and then later on we're going to go into the Man City game.
Yeah.
But West Brom 6-0, some good football against another 23 side. It was a good game, and I want to hear what people think about it. So,
Well, I mean,
let's talk about it.
honestly, like the reason that we're all late, lads, is because we've had a big argument about how the game went. Not so much about how good it was, but rather
I wouldn't say
more
argument, a discussion.
a discussion,
wasn't
a debate about what we are going forward. Because I think, look, we are looking for clues about a plan, and I think the big idea was looking at this game, trying to see if something was different. Maybe we'll put up some pass maps later, but for me, I'll just put my overarching view. A lot of people felt that they saw something different. For me, I didn't. I saw very, very clear 3-2-5 that transitioned to a 2-3-5. The only differences were that Callum had really a lot of struggles in terms of athletically getting up and down the pitch, and technically he's been awful. He's had really poor form. And so Odegaard would drop in as part of the three, and when he did so, Callum would attempt to overlap. But when he couldn't, Callum just joined in and Odegaard stayed central. There's been a lot of debate about whether or not we use a dual 10 system. I'd argue we always do. Our wingers, for me, I've called it kind of, pseudo 10s on Twitter quite a bit. We use these players to create overloads and numerical superiority, but I saw nothing different in terms of our performance. The one thing that I saw that was different was intent. I feel like when we looked at our progression beyond the first 15 minutes, which were shaky, I don't know if anybody had a chance to watch it back, but we couldn't handle the intensity. It was really poor. The structure was all over the place. We weren't settled. But after the first 15 minutes, and I think oddly when Ramsdale got his foot on the ball, we could really start to see the difference in terms of our progression. It was a lot sharper. We were moving through the thirds excellently. I do think Ramsdale is a massive part of that. We did project this a lot earlier on. We've got a Ramsdale debate for sure to come up for people, but he was crucial for us progressing up the pitch quickly. I think Aubameyang, I told everybody, don't clown this man who I can't believe I have to defend, but he looked sharp. His movement was immense. People saying that it was tap-ins, it wasn't. He was anticipating the danger. He was crashing the box before it even happened. The first goal happens because Aubameyang is there and alive to crashing the box, and the defender has no idea that he's coming around back. So when I look at these things, I'm starting to see a lot of great things. The one thing I will say is Odegaard, what did he give us? He gave us a secondary between-the-line security option. I don't think we've had that in the last two games. I think Saka's not been fit, so he's not been himself. He was back to his usual self today. Excellent, or a couple days ago. He was excellent on the ball, able to evade people very quickly, but he was a reliable option receiving between the lines. Odegaard gave us that a little bit deeper than I would like, but that was maybe a consequence of our lack of technical ability in the back line. You start to project this a lot higher up the pitch, and we start to get a lot more overloads and a lot more quickly. But it was just, I don't know, it was nice to get a 6-0 win. I didn't take nothing too big away from it, but one thing that I did like to see was when you have these pillars, it really does show that this team can perform. It just, you need the starting pillars to make this happen. And even with who we had, by the way, they weren't our guaranteed starters. So it was just nice to see when you have another plug, you have another person to just help you up the pitch, what happens to our front line. And I think our forwards maybe showed people, including Lacazette, that efficiency isn't a problem, I hope, because I really feel that we are a fallacy of our chance creation, not so much of lacking output.
I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you why we were half an hour late is because I thought that with the fact that Odegaard and Saka, because Saka did drop deeper as well, it wasn't just Odegaard, they both dropped deeper. I think that showed it was a different tactical. It's not a tactical lineup, but a tactical emphasis that we weren't creating enough centrally. That was what I was trying to get across to the guys anyway. Because if you look at that Chelsea game, we were playing a lot of cutbacks, a lot of wide overloads, and trying to cut back and trying to use the Tierney route or try and use Pepe in that first half especially. But if you look at yesterday, there was a lot of central build-up, a lot of left-hand side overloading. I saw anyway the past maps shows they played more centrally. Maybe I'm wrong, but my general opinion about that game is we played a lot of down the left to unlock the right. It looked like we were trying to use Pepe as a transitional outlet. We're trying to make that Pepe make that late run into the box. We're trying to crash the box with Saka and Odegaard, as well as Tavares going high to create that overload. But the point I was trying to make is the depth is what interested me, and the fact that it may be tiredness or it could be a tactical emphasis in the second half to create extra chances by overloading in the left. Is that basically the left-hand overload allowed more freedom for the players, and that's what I saw because we were having more a central chance creation. If you look at where we had our chances, they were all they weren't sort of like run down across, or They weren't sort of like the half space creation boxes. They were central creation spaces where we were trying to progress the ball in that fashion, which was a different tactical emphasis. That was my point. I don't really care about which formation you want to call it in. Maybe it was a 3-2-5. I saw it as a 3-2-3-2. Sorry, 3-2-2-3. But it is.
I'm
what it is,
uncomfortable with saying that we progressed through the center because I saw a very different philosophy at West Ham, where that was the first time I saw visible central creation and the idea of a future 4-3-3. And for me, the defensive principles in this game were a lot more back to basics as opposed to a change like the West Ham. They weren't. For me, when you have a 4-3-3, and in West Ham it was very visible, you crash in a 1-3-6. You commit bodies forward, and that's how you crash in a defensive state. For me, I saw very clearly a pivot crash. I think when you look at the heat maps, Xhaka and Elneny are very tightly close together. Odegaard's slightly deeper, but Saka's higher up. For me, very clear 3-2-5 structure with Odegaard helping our right-hand side that lacked technical and athletic ability because our left is fine. Tavares was great. Many people thought he had a bad game, but for me, I think athletically he was excellent. Loose in his touches, a little naive, but he had a certain area of athleticism that we could really use. If we had a Tavares on the right, I really think a lot of people would be changing their minds about what the system demands were. So I think for me, there wasn't enough central creation, but there didn't need to be because I feel that West Brom actually had a lot of energy in the center of the park. They had a lot of great youngsters. There was a Portuguese youngster, I forget his name, that came in for West Brom that was excellent, I thought. And he did a great job in the middle of the game. But look, I think ultimately for me, there's a question about how much do you take away from this to translate to the Prem, right? Like how much of this, forget the formation differences, and I want to bring others in to debate the formation. But for me, I get asked this a lot. How much can you take away from this game? Well, for me, it's a confidence builder. You don't take away projection for what you can do in the league. But I'll tell you something. That third Aubameyang goal and what it did for him, it is something. It does matter. And people that don't think confidence and mentality breed that, crazy for me. That Aubameyang third goal doesn't happen in any other game that we've seen in the last 6 months if he doesn't score those goals. He doesn't have the ability to ISO and do that. I haven't seen that for almost 6 months. He had an air of athleticism back. I thought he was very nippy. I don't know what you guys felt, but I felt in preseason, people said that he had lost a step. I don't know about you guys. I saw no step being lost in him. I saw everything back, Rolls Royce type movement. And I don't know. I was happy for Saka.
I agree with you, George. George, I agree with you. I think for me, I know we debated for ages just before we came on about what we saw. But the truth is, if you just take the game in isolation, it's not enough to be able to conclusively prove formations, etc. So I think that's what we ended our discussion before we came live. But I think what you're right about certain things. I think we just talked about Cristiano Ronaldo and how he's going to bring a flip for the fans, etc. I think this performance with strikers getting back into confidence and fitness, more importantly, is going to help. I thought the away support were excellent in that game. I felt that the away support really connected with Ramsdale. Anyone who went to the game and saw how he interacted, and he was taken aback because I think he was slightly. If he was reading his Instagram, and I know he was because he switched them off, right?
Yeah.
I think the fact that I think he's a genuine kid. He made a great connection with the fans. He's done this before in other clubs, and I think that was massive. I think that gave a lot of supporters hope that this guy could come in and solve a problem area that we have. I felt the defenders were a bit nervous passing the ball back to him because I think they've got a bit of PTSD with Leno and how they can't trust him. And I think as time went on in that game, I saw something really promising, which is that they trusted him a lot more with the ball, and he reciprocated by choosing some really good decisions about how he's going to pass the ball. I think we still have a few players who need to sharpen up when these long balls, because I think they were like 70-30 towards the striker's favour, the attacker's favour, and they didn't win their duels in the air. So I felt that skewed his statistics in terms of his long passing, but I thought he had an excellent game. I think, though, I just want to hold people back a bit because I know I saw a lot of people saying, like we should get Leno out and get Ramsdale straight in. I think he needs to be given time to get acclimatized with the players that he had, because I think the players that we played in that game in the back aren't necessarily the players that he will be expected to play with once he gets into the team. So I think you'll see a I think this is where the manager's been stuck, right? He's had issues with like the first phase of play, and we saw how with the youngsters, the one thing you can always rely on them is to press like mad at the start, and they had lots of energy and they went. And I think what you saw towards the end of the game is they lost the energy to press, and obviously everything falls down if that was your main philosophy. That high line killed them as well, and we exploited that. And you know, sometimes when you play against high lines, it's not necessarily like it's easy for an attacking team. You have to pick your moments and you have to pick the passes, and I thought we were good at that. I also think you know, the fitness of the players is so important, because I think that's what's really hampered us in the first two games. I think like although getting the minutes under the players' belts, getting to see the away crowd, connecting with them again is huge, because I think the away fans are very different at Arsenal compared to the home fans, right? And I think the away fans, in my opinion, they're the hardcore. They follow the team around. They have a special bond with the team. They sort of have an inkling where the team is going. They're not going to read too much into it. I don't want anyone to read too much into it. I think what we saw was that this was excellent preparation for this game coming up now, which is the City game, which we're obviously going to be talking about. Okay, so that's my viewpoint on the whole thing.
Before we do talk about City, I just want to mention one other thing. 6 goals is great, but there are things that it just negating. We need to get more sharper in one-on-one situations as a club. I feel like a lot of our chances, like you'd have like
one-on-one finishing.
Yeah, one-on-one finishing. Like Alba messed up one. I think Pepe messed up one.
Hit the crossbar, yeah.
Pepe at the crossbar. It was like, I'm not saying it's awful, but I'm just saying it's an emphasis to be an emphasis of what we should be looking at in terms of before the City game. George is waving to some chances going past him. But
on the one-on-ones is that a couple of our goals, and Aubameyang's goal, second goal came from a Pepe hitting the post. His first goal came from a rebound from Saka's shot. So Pepe's goal came from Aubameyang missing the one-on-one. So I see what you're saying about missing the first chances, but at least we have an abundance of players in the positions.
Look, we scored 6. I can't say we weren't clinical, but I'm just saying there were chances.
I think it's a problem with our team. I agree with you, Curran. I think inefficiency in the final third is pretty large. Look, I'm one that has hammered Pepe in the past, and I actually saw a lot more aggressive running. The issue I've got is in those final moments, he's inconsistent, and he continues to be inconsistent. The first pass, I see him clean through, go far post, mate. Like, these are basic coaching, and he went near post, and of course, when it works, it looks great and it's excellent, right? But when it doesn't, that's not a fundamental. When you're clean through on goal, you go far post. That's very typical. Yeah. The second time, I think he slows some play down, but he was willing to run this game, and so why I'm going to give him a pass for maybe not doing stuff in the past I've criticized him about is because I felt there was a lot more aggressive running from him that I hadn't seen in previous games. I felt that there was an intent to attack. If he didn't get it right or wrong, I'm not a big fan of. It annoys me, but that's Pepe. That is Pepe. So for me, it's about making those aggressive runs, and he was doing it. So good for him. Awesome. And I think Saka was back too. Like the movements that you could see him evading pressure and from deep. The one thing that I say about Saka playing on the left is he's an absolute creative machine. That's his profile on the left. And I don't think he sees passes, and he's not as flexible on the left, but he's able to execute much more efficiently on the left. And so what I mean by that is when he's on the right, I feel as though there's much more options to him and he's able to turn, but I find he rushes his decisions a bit more on the right, whereas on the left, he's very much secure, maybe less of a passing range, but very efficient in what he does. And I think that's why we start to see him creatively be excellent, and he just knows where to be. That kid is a superstar. I just wanted to give a little extra 30 seconds because I saw some weird hammering of him, which he deserved. He didn't track back on Chelsea. He deserved. It was a bad performance.
Both goals against Chelsea. He was
like he's at fault for it, but it's just like this kid is our superstar. Like he is absolutely our leader, and when
it was a
he's firing, it was a fitness issue. But I wanted to give him a little bit of props because I don't know. I just saw some weird things. I think on the timeline, either you're really crap or you're really shit, and normally it's somewhere in between. Nobody is right on the extremes. But look,
Did you just say you're either really crap or really shit?
Yeah.
Oh my days! He meant you're either really good or really cheap.
I just clocked that. I was like, hang on a second, wait.
I don't know. I just wanted to maybe end on my personal winners and losers of the match myself, just because overall, I think it's tough to talk about tactically. I think we all have our opinions about where
Who's
we're
your
at.
loser?
For me, Callum Chambers, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought he really struggled all game. He struggled athletically. He struggled passing wise. That first pass to Ramsdale is ridiculous. He should know better. That's totally on him. And, you know, I think he's had a really rough start to the season. I really do. I think midway in the season, he was a lot more clean technically. He was a lot more efficient in his touches. And I know there's more from him. It's just I felt if I'm going to be criticizing Holding for not releasing the ball, and I'm not going to do the same for Callum, it's ridiculous. Just because I felt he had a better run of play, I just think Callum really struggled this game, the entire game, to be honest with you. And I don't know what to do with that right back spot because it is a problem. It is a big problem.
Yeah.
And for me, I would hypnotize Ainsley Maitland-Niles in a heartbeat. Do whatever you have to do to figure that kid out because right now Callum is a problem and we won't have a right-hand side until that overlapping option is consistent, until we've got Partey and Ben White to keep the high line. That's the only reason I can see Callum being there because he has no athleticism to join the attack. I think half of the reason people feel that a 4-3-3 was viable in this one was because we saw Callum hang back more. I don't think that's tactical instruction. I think that's athletic limitation. He was just tired. He was gassed. Whenever Pepe was looking to release him, you could see him chugging along, and it was like he was carrying lead, and he just was not able
His
to
passing
overlap.
choice was even bad.
It was
There was
poor.
a time where Odegaard gave him the ball, and
Yep.
Pepe just made a run, and he's just started getting angry and shouting at Chambers because Chambers passed
The
it.
offside chance.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the perfect
he passed it
example.
when he was offside, and Pepe was angry at him though the rest of the time. But I think, yeah, you're right in the sense that he probably was the loser on the pitch. I think off the pitch,
Yeah.
the loser was Leonard. Because a lot of people were just, even though we won 6-0, a lot of people were talking about him and Ramsdale and how Ramsdale should play next or should play tomorrow and should consistently play over Leonard. So my loser would probably be Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, Leonard looks like he's going to be.
No.
Z, what about you? What's your winner and loser overall on the game?
See, I think when I look at the match in a realistic way, I think there's a lot of positives, and I know it's fair that we shouldn't praise the team too much, but I generally feel like that match could have gone really bad. By the way,
Mhm.
he conceded the first goal, which I think West Brom were close to. That match could have gone south. We could have seen the wrong side of Arsenal again. But credit to the team, they actually stepped up against the young, youthful West Brom team, and they showed a performance where we could see what Arteta wants to do. Team, regardless whether it's the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, we could see the patterns of passing, the way he wants to play, and to be fair, there was more variation. It was just not left hand bias. We weren't just trying to cross it from the left back with Tavares. We were also trying to create on the right, and actually, we were actually trying to create through the middle, which was a change for us. So it was good for me to see. But I would say my winner of the game was Ramsdale, maybe because like a shiny new toy for me. Every time he completed a pass, I just clapped my hand, and I was just like, "This is amazing!" And he wasn't taking that long on the ball. And especially when he made that line-breaking pass to Odegaard, oh my God, I was just, I almost fainted with happiness. But the loser of the match, I think, has to go on any man. He takes way too long to make those passes. Really annoyed me at some stages of the game because I feel like we could have scored a lot more goals with Aubameyang and Pepe. There was literally so much space to pass into, and Elneny was just like taking too long, man. Honestly. So yeah, leader of the game, Elneny, winner, Aaron, fucking Ramsdale.
Right, so if we're doing winners and losers, so I agree with George on the loser. You guys know I love Callum Chambers. I have a personal internet moment with Callum Chambers, and if there's anyone on this platform that defends Callum Chambers, it's me. But I know that he didn't have a good game last night. He looked gassed. He looked He looked bad. Like, he didn't look like himself. I agree with George. He's not started well. But if we're talking winners, I don't.
Did
I think we
cut
got
out?
a little bit of
cut
a
out?
frozen
He
current.
cut out. They didn't want to hear his winner after
Yeah.
he went against the guy who he loves. I think my winner's probably maybe Oba for the 3 goals, just because of the rep he was getting, especially in pre-season, because he was missing a lot of chances, and that he was finished, and that we should bin him off, and he can't come back from last season. So I think Oba's 3 goals.
My internet just cut out. I was about to make a joke and my internet cut out. So
Good, he knew. He knew. What about so Willow? How about you, mate? What's your winner loser of the game?
I thought all the attackers played really well. It was nice to see. This is some of the most off the ball movement I've actually seen from our attack in a long time. So I think it's just a shame. Obviously, you do have the kind of Mohamed El Nenis and the Rob Holdings and Klazanak in defence who can't actually transition the ball quicker. If you have a Ben White and Partey in there, Jesus Christ, the amount of more goals we could be scoring from them through balls, and it's promising to see things to come into this season. On hopefully we don't always have to do a 30-40 pass to actually score a goal. It can just be someone picks up the ball. Aaron Ramsey passes it out to Partey. Partey looks up, chips it over the top, and then we score from that. That would be beautiful to see, and I hope we see a lot more of that. But I think for my loser, Chambers, he just looks so lethargic at the moment. I don't know what's going on with him, but it's a bit worrying.
He doesn't look fit, does he? To be fair,
he doesn't. That's the thing. He doesn't look fit. So I don't really know how you sort that out. I don't know if you could, like for City, for instance, I couldn't put him in against City. He'd get absolutely blitzed against what they have. It has to be for me, you have to beg Ainsley probably to play up right back if we really want to compete in that game. But so Chambers is my loser. And I think my winner is Alba, not just because of the 3 goals he scored, but how many runs did he make and didn't even get the ball either? There must have been about 10 times where he made a run in behind, but he got ignored. But when he did get it, he made the most of it. And it's not, people say tap-ins. That anticipation where Saka shoots that ball, he's not watching like so many strikers would. He's an elite striker when he actually... Before even Saka starts shooting, he's already running. Gone. He's already gone. He's already trying to get the other side of it, making sure he's on side, but making sure he tries to get the other side of the defender, and he's there. It's world class to see that kind of thing, and I really hope that Alba can try and get back, because it's been a horrible year for him. It would be amazing if he can get back into that form, and that 3rd goal as well was just a touch of class. So
when's the last time we saw him ISO? We know that we've seen that, but legit, he's had those options in the last 6 months, and have you guys ever felt confident that he laces that top corner?
No, he can't even get the touches right a lot.
One-on-one.
Actually get it out of his feet. He can't even get the touches right to get out of the feet. He was so quick with it then, and then it was beautiful.
I think it was
the
in
last
March.
one-on-one I've seen.
Newcastle, maybe
Europa League. Do you remember when he went one-on-one Europa League and he dinged it wide?
Yeah.
And then Lacazette did the same thing in the same game, and he hit the crossbar.
And even Lacazette, who comes in, by the way, I mean, Pepe did a great ball in, but when's the last time Lacazette hasn't fluffed his lines on a ball like that? Like, I just thought the forwards were efficient.
They were.
They had a different type of aura about them.
Which to me, and when people say you can't take a lot from the game, I kind of disagree. I don't take much from the formation. I don't take much from the opposition. But what I do take away is in the moments of absolute need, they finished. That has not been the case, guys, for 8 months. Of all our forward lines.
We hit the post 3 times.
Yeah. And it's just, for me, it's about efficiency. Like, if you're telling me that we were efficient or not, I think today the one thing you could take back is our leaders. And the only reason I bring this up is because I think there was a lot of conspiracy theories online about fallouts with Arteta. And I find it no coincidence that our forwards, specifically Lacazette and Aubameyang, look to have a point to prove. Like, Oba looked mean. I don't know if people were looking at it. He wasn't happy. He was ready and on a mission. And when he was doing it, he was like, there, you guys want to talk about me not being good enough? I'm not finished? Cool. And then Lacazette came on, and he was sharp, guys. Like, the turns, I hate Lacazette, but you got to freaking give him credit, man. He drops deep, and he sends Pepe on immediately within, 2 minutes of coming on? That's sharp. That is sharp movement. The pace of pass was excellent. So, yeah, I took away efficiency in the final third, regardless of West Brom basically giving you the best opportunity to score with, a very bad high line, an inconsistent press, yada yada. Cool, but our actions in the final third, in the best moments, were on point. They were the right decisions. So that was the biggest takeaway I took. So my winner would probably be just the team. I don't want to isolate people, but maybe the forward line efficiency, because that's something that we just haven't seen.
I mean, you can't. For me, I mean, as much as if we're doing a player, I agree with George. We can't really do a player, but if you are going to do a player, man did get a hat trick. Like,
Yeah, Oba's the epitome of
it's
what I
his third
just
hat-trick for
maybe
the
my
club.
argument. So if we have to do a player, probably him.
Yeah.
Third hat.
I don't know. Maybe Nom. Did you
third
see
for Arsenal?
anything?
I would say, yeah.
Did you see anything different from our winners and losers?
Yeah, I might be a bit controversial here because I think the winners you could have picked a whole load of things. I think the winner was not any individual player, but I think the mentality of as I said earlier in my bit, the team reconnecting with the fans. I think that's so important at the moment. We're not going to get chances. Next game could be difficult. I think the away fans, as I said before, they're different. I think the only loser I've got, the only player I know, Chambers he's not been in form even in pre-season. But I think that's easy for me to just pile in on him. I think Tavares, though, still needs to do some work. I think we saw some developmental work. He needs to understand that he doesn't need to spam crosses like Tierney. He's got other strengths I think that he isn't using. He is much better in field because of the fact that he can use his right foot. I think what he should be coached to do is to come in and maybe add that strength to the team because I think he can help up and build up. He just needs to keep things simple. He tried to do that. Sometimes I think because he was a little bit indecisive whether to take his man on or to play inside. I think when he learns to do that instinctively quicker, he will become much more effective in the team. So it's not that he's a loser per se. I think it's something that the coaches need to sort of get hold of him and work with. And I understand that he's young and he's settling into the country. I think you'll see a different player come December in regards to him. So I think you should watch out for him because even though I've chosen him as a loser today, I think I can see aspects of his game that if we could bring them out will be amazing for the team in terms of how he brings new elements to the team instead of just being a straight out replacement for Kieran Tierney going forward.
I agree in terms of he tried to be more Kieran than he should have been Tavares because he probably is a better short range, maybe even medium range passer than Tierney. And I think he's better with both feet, but I don't think because there was a time where he just switched on his right and put Pepe in. And if Pepe took that first touch well, we'd probably score another goal. But his first touch isn't always good. So I think that's enough on West Brom. And I think we should move on to the early kickoff tomorrow, 12:30 in England. Arsenal versus Man City. No, Man City versus Arsenal. So yeah,
I'm gonna go.
Who wants to go
Yeah,
first?
I'm gonna go first because there's something that needs to be said here. If this man does not go 4-3-4 in this game, I don't know what he's playing at. This is the game. You need to play. You can't play City at that game. 3-4-3. Yeah, sorry.
You said 4-3-4.
I meant 3-4-3. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you both of you. Thank you, my team, for correcting me. But the 3-4-3 for this one. You've got to play. We don't have the profiles to outdo City at their own game. Not at this point. You have to be able to stretch them. You have to do the Pep wide. You have to stretch them. You have to pack that central that back line. And I think it's a 3-4-3 game. It has to be.
We said that against Chelsea, though.
He can't go 4-2-3 on this. He's going to get out-muscled. I know, but he has to do it at some point.
I think
Does anyone disagree? Does anyone think we should do 4-2-3-1?
I don't think we should, but I don't think it will happen. I don't think we will go for 3-4-3. I think we will go 4-2-3-1.
But do you think we should?
It for Chelsea, no, yeah, I think we should. But if he didn't change it for Chelsea, he's not going to change it for City.
Yeah, we went against the best player at the back in Europe, and he stayed 4 at the back. So I don't know why. I'm not sure he'd switch for City.
Do you not agree with that? Do you not agree we should do it though?
I think we have more of a chance against City in the 4 at the back than we did have against Chelsea in the 4.
I'm more upset about us not doing it against Chelsea than I am.
I understand that.
The reason I'll say that is because I felt that Chelsea are so clearly overloading the wings, and when you play a 3 at the back system, that's the control that you're kind of ensuring, really, is that you can deal with those wing overloads. For me, City are central, so while I actually disagree with the lads. I don't think City in a 3-4-3 is actually a great thing to do tactically. I think the way that they progress in the center, what you really need is a little bit more security in that 4-4-2 balance, really, and that's the big thing for me. So I would actually crash the box and do this with what we have and play more of a counter-attacking press with maybe some of our more returning fitness players. It's tough because you're going to have Holding and Marie as your starters at this point, and I think in a 3-4-3 that gets roasted on the side. So I actually wouldn't do that, and I have sympathy for him. I still think he should have done it versus Chelsea because at least you've got Kieran fit and you've got an opportunity to close down that wing. But City aren't that predictable. They're unpredictable on both sides, and so it's less of a requirement tactically to do that. For me, I think regardless of what we do, this is the most pessimistic you'll see me. I think the outcome is fine. So I'm struggling to see. There is no best case scenario. At least with Chelsea, I could argue 3-4-3 is giving you the best chance of a win. I actually think City, no matter what we set up, the outcome is very much set, especially with our center progression pieces out, which is more of a worry against City progress through the center. Whereas against Chelsea that go on the wings, if you don't have a center, you can orient yourself to fix that problem. I don't think the same can be said for City. So really, I think we're in for a long night. I hope that he is more defensive personally. That's probably the only thing I hope that we see. And I think that maybe we just let our forwards on the break because I don't think this is going to be a great night. I'll be honest with you.
I will tell you why I say 3-4-3. It's because we have so many injuries. If you're playing Mari at left centre back in a 4-2-3-1, do you not think we're left exposed, like badly?
I think we're worse exposed in the 3-4-3 because he's got more space to cover.
No, but the thing is, we have he'll be who's his battle in 3-4-3? It'll probably be
I
Mari.
don't know who they're going to play striker. It's probably going to be Ferran Torres or Jesus,
which I'm not comfortable with him doing.
Considering the fact that City have a few players out, they don't have Kevin De Bruyne or Foden playing as well, which is, what, I'd have banked on them starting the game if they were both fit. So
I just want Ainsley to play. I'm not going to lie. I really, really want Ainsley to play. And it's getting to the point where, look, I understand that there's player wishes. I understand that there's, I understand he doesn't want to go there. Everyone's going to keep spamming, but George, he wants to play center mid. I get it, guys. But this is a 24-year-old player. I'm sorry, as the coach, I would tell you, look, tactically, we need you to do this for this type of game. And I would go 4-4-2, very Simeone-esque in style, which is just a little variant on the 4-2-3-1. I would have Ainsley on the wing, like I would have previously with Tierney, and I want us to win our duels because our center pitches are going to get exposed. Whatever we do, Mari and Holding, 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, they're going to be exposed. So let's kind of cap it. So they will.
Can you not crash into 5-4-1? Would that not
with what? With 3-4-3
provide you more security at the back?
Not in my opinion, because I feel as though you can, Curran, like it does. It's just in my opinion, I don't think the players that we have that will crash into there are in the best spots. I think for me, you want to go 4-4-2. So we have pressers that have legs and also outlets. I think a 5-4-1 secures that you're not going to receive any of the ball. Whereas a 4-4-2 gives you the same solidity, but adds an extra outlet just in case you're able to break. And for me, I would easily low block counter 4-4-2 and have Ainsley on the wings. But then you can get Bukayo on the wing as well, and I would probably even put, I would even maybe put Tavares on the other wing. Just I need athletes on the wing because central, we're gonna get screwed, and I know this. Period.
It's way too big. That pitch is way too big and long for us to play the same players that we played against Chelsea. We need athletes.
That's
we need players that cover the entire defense. You know what? I have a feeling that we might even play Ainsley. There was no reason for him to even get minutes against West Brom. So for him to come on against City,
I know it's an unconventional lineup, Z, but I'll just give you my opinion on it. And look, I want to preface. I think this outcome is already done. So I don't want to see people being really upset because whatever formation happens, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. But if you're asking George, what would you set up as 4-4-2? I would go Tierney in the back. Marie Holding, unfortunately,
In
and
goal,
Ainsley.
Who you put in
would.
goal?
Who am I putting in goal? Ramsdale, but he won't. It'll be Leno. But I'm putting in Ramsdale. I actually disagree slightly with Nam. I think he's good. Put him in. I don't care if he makes mistakes. He's better in profile. So for me, I go the profile man. So I would do Ramsdale personally, but it's going to be Leno. But then I would go Tierney, Marie Holding, and Ainsley. And then I would put Tavares, Xhaka, Lokonga, Saka. And I put ESR and Aubameyang up top. And I'd sub in Martinelli for a press later in the game if we're still in it. And that's basically the only change that I would make. And
So
just have
Pepe's on
two
the bench for you.
Absolutely. Pepe cannot get near the starting lineup. This I will critique Arteta for, especially versus City. It's just not the game for him. Even if you're his biggest fan, you cannot say, if I'm going to sit there and say that he's going to counter and release, that you're going to want that against a City team that we need possession against. So,
Did you say Tavares left mid?
yes.
I'm thinking about it, and I
Can
think
work.
Tavares can definitely play left mid. I think the athleticism will benefit us. I think if we do go proper defensive, I think we'll just be sitting ducks, and they'll pick us off if we go maybe 3-4-3. Because
The only thing is they don't have a striker.
Exactly.
they don't. Yeah, so
And guys, you're forgetting Kevin De Bruyne is not playing, so that's a big
And
big
Foden.
miss.
Yeah, as he said, yeah. So that's the thing. They are missing some key players. They don't have a striker. You saw how they were against Spurs. They just didn't have that clinical edge to them. They had a good start and they made chances, but they didn't have that edge. You just
What
need
did
that-
Spurs do, though? Do you guys remember what they did?
Well, they sat back and countered really,
And
that's what I want to do. I want
Yeah.
the classic, as the word is, shit house performance. I want us to
Mhm.
sit back, and if they're going to put balls in the box, it does scare me because Rob Holding and he got out jumped by Sterling last time we played, and if it happens again, I'll be fuming. But that's what we should be doing, is just sitting back in our own box, getting them balls out of it, and just counter attacking. And that's the only thing that does fill me with a bit of confidence, is how we kind of counter attacked in that West Brom game, on how many good runs Aubameyang made. And I think, if we can do that and focus on that and find a few good balls over the top, because City are going to be a high line, Alba could be in for a nice day here if he can carry on with the runs he made, against West Brom. We could sneak it. I mean, we could also get obliterated. Like our classic against City is we always concede in the first 5 minutes and then the game's done and we end up losing 2-3-0. That's what we can't let happen. No sloppy goals, no individual errors in the first 15, 20, the first half. You got to keep it off as long as possible. And I think I do agree with George as well. I put Aaron Ramsdale in there. For me, he fits the team more on what you want to do, and outlets and trying to actually keep the possession. Leno's not going to be that guy. He's just going to put you under more pressure. When we're going to be seeing wave of City attacks, you don't want Leno to be that one to kick it up there to no one. You want someone who can actually be an outlet in Ramsdale and actually pick someone out.
Essentially, just to piggyback Willow, mate, because look, in my system, I've got a ball-dominant winger in Saka, but on the left, I've got a runner. And so that's why in the two, you have to have ESR and not a Pepe. People might question, why don't you have Martinelli or Pepe as your outlets? But on that left-hand side, if I'm going to have Tavares as an absolute outlet, I need somebody with a little bit of ball dominance there and somebody with concentration. The biggest thing that City requires in this game is going to be awareness and concentration for me. And so you have to put the balance between athleticism on the break, but also with absolute concentrations. And it's just why Pepe can't play for me. Like, fundamentally, he is an outlet. Yes. On the right, we do need an outlet. Yes. But is he switched on enough 100% of the time? I don't trust him to do that. I don't think this is the game for him. So I wouldn't play him there. And with Saka on the right, you can have your outlet. And for me, Aubameyang has had excellent movement. So you kind of balance both sides where you get your ball dominant option as well as an outlet. That's really what you want to pair between the two. So yeah, I'd go man for man. And like I said, we saw Spurs and Palace gave you a great blueprint about what to do against City. And, I really think sitting in countering is the best way to stop, because they're going to overthink it. And I just hope we see similar.
Oh, you don't have actually. I just realised you don't have Erdegaard in for that game either, do you, George?
No way. I need athleticism and concentration. I do.
I do have Odegaard in. I have him as the 10 in our system. If we're playing 4-2-3-1, then he is the 10. You can't. Like who's going? You playing ESR
Emil.
10?
No, I'm not. I'm choosing Emil.
See, this is the thing. I mean, I think because I think we have Emil out left, and I think we'll have Odegaard in the center.
That'll be a very bad day for us if we have Odegaard, who lacks athleticism, on a team that progresses through the center. It's not going to be fair to him. It's just not. Like I'm not his biggest fan, but at the same time, I want to give him the best opportunity to succeed. And this game, along with Pepe, these are two people that, don't fit the game plan. And so if you do put them in, you're giving them options to fail. So I'm not going to sit there and be upset if they do fail. It's just, that's essentially my team.
Nom, what's your team for the City game?
You know what? To be honest, I'm really undecided. I have no idea how to play this because I think. Look, do you remember when we beat them in the FA Cup semi-final?
Yeah.
We caught them out on the left-hand side, and we had Kieran. We played three at the back, 3-4-2. We played an interesting dynamic, which caught them out. And then I think to counter that, the next time we played them, they put Walker in as a right sort of. He almost sort of stayed back and locked that off. So we're gonna have to be inventive in terms of how we're going to approach this game because I think Pep will try to knock off that left-hand dynamic. So we might have to produce something on the right-hand side. It's like a surprise tactically going forward, right? I think Ake's not going to play. I think is it Laporte and Diaz.
That's why I've got Aubameyang on the right now, and Smith Rowe on the left.
Yeah, so I think George might be right that maybe playing a 4-4-2 might make things more simplistic because it starts off with a block. That you want to play. So I don't know. It's very difficult for me to figure out. I think certain players. I don't know if Tavares is ready for that game. I think from what I saw of West Brom, he might be easily pressured off in terms of choosing the wrong option. So that's the only caution I'd throw. And I know I'm just using George's ideas here to sort of say why I think. I think there you might have to be a little bit more creative in terms of who you bring in. You need to have some. I think you need to try to get players going to be secure. For me, I'd like to think that maybe we could put Lokonga out there and then bring El Neni into midfield. I know that everyone's going to hate that because he's so negative, but we know what we're going to get with El Neni, right? And I think we just need to think about when we get possession, can we release Oba and Saka? So I think I would try to surprise people. I would try to push him further up and sort of try to exploit any holes and pockets that he can get himself into and take away the defensive responsibility. I think you've got players like Elneny and Xhaka who naturally just sit deep, so they will be able to sort of do that. So I think that might be the only thing I would do slightly differently.
I don't know if I trust them in wide spaces. That's my only thing, Dom. At least with Xhaka and Lokonga, I know centrally.
I think this is the thing, though. I think Xhaka can move across to that left-hand space and at least slow down. Does that make sense? Until Lokonga gets back in. I think that's how I would see it. I think we need to spring a surprise tactically. I really do. And I think if we do see some sort of tinkering in the formations, I know there's going to be a meltdown in the fan base, but I think the fan base needs to understand without our first team players, we have to do this. Right? There is no other way that we can set up.
I'm worried about Walker. That's what it is, guys. Like I think he is the key. Like you cut off him and their build up stops. Yeah. Because he and his overlap. And so for me, Kyle Walker against Xhaka scares the living shit out of me on a left wing. And Tavares is loose. He's not great, but at least I know in a 10, 15-yard sprint when Kyle Walker does get released, I can see him able to keep up. I don't know if I can see Xhaka. So at least that's kind of why I
George,
like that
I don't. You've got to understand that. I think what I keep on seeing with Kyle Walker at Man City is he very rarely these days overlaps compared to what he used to do. He's always kept back as that insurance policy against the counter-attack and transitions. Right, he's key to unlock him. So I think what we need to do is when you wave something in front of his eyes to distract him from, You know, do you understand what I'm saying to you? So the play won't be down his side. The play will be
Smith
down the
Rowe
opposite
has
side.
to engage him 1v1 essentially.
Yeah, and keep him occupied, and then the play has to be overload that side to keep them engaged there to be able to then release the right hand side. Does that make sense? So for
Totally.
me, going forward,
So
that's what we have to do. I
who's
think
your
defensively, we
overlapper?
all know
No?
what we're going to have to do.
Are you having Tierney overlap?
I think so, but he's got to be very careful when he does it, because I think that's if Xhaka is the one covering by himself, that's when we're the most vulnerable. Because we know Mari, and if I was Pep, I would be targeting that side in terms
What
of
if we play this
pace.
4-4-2? I'm not sure he played Tavares left mid. So what if Martinelli plays there? Do you think he'd because obviously his defensive contribution will be beneficial in comparison to, and like maybe
For me,
someone
I
else?
think you need an overlap option, and Martinelli will come in field. And the issues are on the wing for me. And so it's basically a choice between Oba and Martinelli for me.
Yeah.
You don't think Tierney will play, you don't want Tierney left wing this game?
I think that
No,
I think
I
the
don't.
problem with that though, CK, is that
Because Mari worries me.
Martinelli's not 100% fit at the moment. You saw that he hasn't
Yeah.
been pressing
Yeah,
like
he's
the way
not.
we expect him to. So I think if it was the Martinelli from last season, like where he's fully fit, 100%. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But it's not the same Martinelli, so I think
He's a sub
we're
if
not
the
going to
game's
get the
close
same thing from him.
for me.
Yeah. Plus,
I think
under pressure, he's a great threat going forward, but I don't think he's going to help you maintain possession against a team like City that were really clever.
But maybe Z has a different formation. Like, I don't know. I want to get his thoughts, and Willow. Like we don't have to go 4-4-2 guy. This is just what I would do, understanding City and where the holes I see. Like, I think their weakest side is the right. And so for me, I want our most efficient players on the right, and their strongest side is kind of on the right, but our left. And so I want athletes on that side for us. So that's where I've done it. And I know Marie is going to screw us at some point. And that's why I want Kieran deep. And that's really why I want Tavares as the left wing option, because I know Marie can't do it in isolation. So I'm really trying to defend Marie as best as I can. But I don't know, Z, Willow, do you guys have any other opinions on formation wise?
I mean, to be fair with you guys, I mean, I would be quite safe with a 3 at the back, and I say that because whenever we've gone back to Manchester City to play with a 4 at the back, it's gone AWOL. It's gone AWOL for us, and I just can't see, especially the overloads that Manchester City will play with, and with the cutbacks. It's literally open for Raheem Sterling to get a first minute goal. I just can't. I just want to stay away from that, and with at least playing 3 at the back, we'll protect ourselves from the overloads from happening. So that's why I'd probably go with the 3 at the back. Again, we probably will lose the midfield, so I don't think we would have won we would have won anything anyways. But with the 3 at the back, at least that part of the game where Manchester City are the most dangerous at least that gets nullified to a certain extent. So yeah, I mean a 3-4-3 would be good. And you never know, man. I don't know why. I think I have a good feeling about the game. Really weird, but yeah.
I like it.
I have a good feeling about the game.
Yeah, this is mine. I mean, I think literally there's pretty much the same team. It's just I think that we need to, because I think this brings into 3-2-5 easier as well. If we do get an opportunity in transition, it's more technically, it's more sound defensively against them, and it does spring easier as well. If we are chasing the game, you can bring in Erdegaard for Lokonga or someone like this, or we can have different rotations, or you can switch the tactical emphasis. But I can't have 4 at the back against the City team. I know where the overloads are, and they're wide. And you need to crash that. When you crash this team, it crashes into a 5-back, and you have the athletes on either midfield role to actually crash better. So
I think this is a good transition from mine, though, Kern. I think it's very similar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same. It's literally the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah. So I'm
not
not upset. I wouldn't be upset with this.
Yeah, it's the same players. Just
We did this, by the way, with City. It's just the dynamics were switched, right? Like just for people to remember, like in our FA Cup run, Niles was on the left.
I knew he was going to say it. I knew he was going to say it. I actually knew he was going to say it.
They were the same, but this is why I want to do it. I want to replicate the same system, right? So
which way is it? Are you going to mention the 2017 FA Cup run? Because I know you love that one as well.
Personally, this is a little bit more to our recent one, but
Yeah.
there is a lot of similarities with the 2017 one. But this is a lot more pet, like Arteta in our FA Cup win in the semifinal. Just Niles was on the left, and our right mid was a little bit more reserved, right?
The only thing is with this team, if we do overload in this team, I don't see the creation in the final third that we had in that second 2019, was it 2019 FA Cup run?
Yes.
Because
2020.
it was 2020. Thank you, CK. But
No worries.
what I'm saying is in that 2020 run, we had that ability to, as we all know, we overloaded on the right and then tried to free Balbo on the left, and it gave us. I don't know. I just feel like this system lacks creativity, and it's very defensive. Obviously, it has to be very defensive because of the team we're going up against. But the only reason I have this team is because I know with this team, I can eke out a 0-0 on this team.
You basically got to hope, and by the way, Ramsdale won't start, but Marie isn't a ball playing center back. But when you look at this system, a big reason was, of course, Louise was immense, right? Like if you remember in spreading the play, what you're hoping is Ramsdale can fire centrally in this system.
Pretty much.
Which he can, right? And you can sacrifice it. I see these systems. I don't know, Z, if this was more along the lines that you were thinking with the 3-4-3. I see the systems very similar. Essentially, like when we want to attack, everyone pushes up on the right-hand side, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then otherwise you go into your 4-4-2 very easily. So this is actually the exact system that I would use in and out of possession. Just
that was my
replicate
exact team as well. That was my exact, the 3-4-3. That's my exact team.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm looking at both teams, if I see, I probably would be more confident than if we maybe try to attack them. Because honestly, I think they probably do better when teams.
You think so?
To,
even recently?
You'd want to attack them.
No, I would counter. I think they've
That's
struggled.
what I'm saying. I wouldn't
midfield.
want to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want us to set up to try take the game or try control possession. Because I think City thrive when there's more of a midfield battle because they are arguably probably the best midfield in the world. So especially with us lacking.
Don't hate me, guys. Don't hate me. But what if you were to switch? I know. What if you were to switch Xhaka and Marie and put in like an El Neni in there, like Nam was saying?
It could work.
It could work, yeah.
That because
to fire the long balls.
And
it's totally unconventional, I know, but put him in the center of the pitch.
He do the Louise role better than Mari.
That's what I'm thinking, right? And then, because Leno's going to play, Ramsdale won't.
Jack has that moment in him, like that silly.
Marie as well.
I know, but I just Jack is.
My only fear with that, I thought about it, was aerially. What do we lose? I know Marie is horrible 1v1, but I'm thinking set pieces, which we've really struggled at.
Well,
do we lose too much on set pieces?
They don't have what's his name. They don't have the delivery with. It
might be Grealish on it.
Oh yeah, Grealish. They have delivery. Christ. They have delivery. It's just look. It's not like it's better. It's not like Xhaka back there is better than Marie.
Just 100 million.
You want more athleticism in midfield with El Neni probably.
That's the thing. Like you lose that, so it's like I the only reason I've kept it like this is I feel as though Marie impacts the defensive third, whereas Xhaka leaving. It helps a little bit in defense, but it leaves us worse in the final third and in the middle third, taking him out of that midfield.
The one thing I have hope with this team is that you have opposite wing ESR Saka. They thrive when they have that ability to cross over and interact with each other.
Yeah.
So
and Holding, who's going to press up, by the way, is secured with Niles.
Yeah,
I really hope Smith Rowe does play on the left because we saw City are probably a bit better on their right hand side than their
totally
left hand
better
side.
on the right.
And we saw the deficiency we had when Saka wouldn't track back or couldn't track back because last week and Smith Rowe could definitely help with it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, if we're thinking creativity with this team, you have to rely on those ESR Saka interplay. And try and free Aubameyang because if we're looking at this, the runner is Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I don't think we can rely on Saka as the outlet run here.
You know
think
what
the
I
run
hate,
is
mate?
happening.
I hate that Chambers is not in form because you just chuck Holding in the center and you can kind of get away with this and have him as the right center back, which is where he's best, right? It's just he's in such bad form. I can't. I think he's a liability. Not that Marie and Holding aren't. It's just the way he's been playing. His pass selection was really bad. Like even
Mate,
if
I didn't
physically
even
he's
have him
not
in.
there.
Even I
Yeah.
didn't have him in.
But I did. Like I debated because logically, when you think about
Yeah.
it,
It makes
him in
sense.
that right center mid spot with the runners around him, it's good, right?
Yeah.
And Lukunga will drop deep. He'll give him an option. You know what I mean? Like he'll have the conditions to thrive.
Yeah.
It's just he struggled. But yeah, look, I don't know.
What about-
Zito, Nom, do you guys have any differences in this? I think these are very similar formations, really. Like
Yeah.
basically they're the hybrid thing. But
Mm.
did anyone have any differences?
I think we were all quite similar with that. I think we should move on maybe to score predictions. If we're feeling brave enough.
2-1 City. They don't. They are kind. I don't think Pep ever will embarrass Arteta, and I don't think the 2-1 does us justice. Like I don't think it's like a close 2-1. I think it's a very early 2, and we somehow get a crappy counter. That's my prediction.
I want some final thoughts from both Z and Nom before they give their predictions as well, because me and George had a bit of a debate there, so I want to make sure everyone gets in on this. So, final thoughts, Z.
Listen, man, don't worry about me. Give the time over to Z because I feel like I've said a bit on the team when I suggested, where certain things. So, Z, take the time, bro. You tell us about what you think.
I mean, to be fair, look, I've just looked at the team that Curran created, and to be fair, I would go with the 3 at the back, and just probably use the same players as well he's been using them. Just because, if you look at the team, it's a lot more athletic, and I think that's probably going to be the way that you're going to be tackling, the troubles that Manchester City bring against you, really. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I can see us like pushing City to like a certain level because they are lacking some of their main players, as in like Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, and I don't think Jack Grealish is there yet. So I don't know, just a feeling inside of me thinks we can get a result, man. Honestly, I'm not gonna do a score prediction just saying because I don't do that.
Is Phil out, guys?
Phil is out, yes.
Yeah, he's out.
And do we have, because Gabriel played today, so we sure he's out?
Yeah, he's out.
No,
he's out.
just physically, it's like it's such a throw-in. They could surprise. Don't be surprised.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
He just played today, didn't he? He's not going to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
On a physio level,
Ruled out.
it's
On
fine.
literally on a physio level, it's fine. I'm even on a medical level, it's fine. It's just the fact is he only played 45. It's not like that's
It's
like
more
a training
game state than
Exactly.
athletically. It's like, is he quick, like on it? Like
he'll be in the squad at least. He will be in the squad, 100%. I don't know if he starts or if he comes on.
I don't think he's in the squad at all.
I think he's in the squad.
I don't think I would, by the way. He's there physically. I don't think I would. I think this isn't the game to test your scalp. I think our season starts versus Norwich. And so prepare for that.
I personally, I don't like doing score predictions either, but
I thought we were doing this before. I thought we were doing this for forfeits. I thought we were doing score predictions. I thought that was the thing we did.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
I don't
totally
like
doing
doing it.
that.
I don't like doing it.
Whose idea was it?
We are.
Like me, I love the score prediction.
I can't stand it, but we are a football channel.
Me, I think 3-0 City. One of the most optimistic facts.
Look, I'll tell you
I
this.
have a feeling that they score and they score well. In fact, I think it will be a big disparity either way.
I mean, you know what I'm going to do? Because I have a love and a hatred of Twitter. I have a real relationship with Twitter, and one of my favorite things about Twitter is that people try and do edgy predictions. So let's do an edgy prediction: 3-1 Arsenal. Let's just say it and try and speak into existence, and then I'll put them.
I hope so.
I will clip this, CK, not for like.
Wait,
and
this is the clip that you're choosing to.
This is the clip. I'm clip this, and just be like, delusional or not delusional, you decide. I don't know. I will just say this right now. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna be a horrible game.
Right, this
But I
kid's
will
left
say,
Twitter and he's dropping a
I
bombshell.
will I will say this right now. For every edgy opinion everyone has, I will drop this one.
Okay.
Have at it, Twitter.
2-0
Cancel
City,
me.
actually. 2-0
No,
City.
you said-
Cancel me.
You can't
But,
change
guys,
anything.
You said 3.
Yeah, I said 3-1 City. I mean 3-1 Arsenal, sorry.
Sorry, Will,
Look,
what
I
was
don't do
yours?
predictions, but I'm gonna say something in regards. If we can get a result, right, I think that'd be massive in terms of being able to go away and work peacefully in a focused manner in terms of in that
Yes.
international break.
Yeah.
So for me, a result would be spectacular in my mind, considering all the context that we're always going into that game. But I don't think it's the be and end all. I think honestly, if we could get some transfers in that that combined with a result would be amazing for me. I don't know how else to sort of give you the importance of that. So I think hearing him talk, he obviously wants to get a result. It's about how he sets up the team and if he can bring some surprises, because we know how Pep has to deal with surprises in between games. He also plans his games out methodically, doesn't he? He's not the kind of guy who finds it easy, even though he's got a plethora of players, to always change the game midway, because he's got a set way that he wants to play and a
There's
set
no
sort
one
of
that
tactic.
knows him more than
Yeah.
this guy.
So I think for me, a positive result, and a good end to the transfer window would be huge for not just the manager, the club, fans. I think for everybody. So I think I just hope at least we get one half of that right. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So that's my piece.
What's yours, Willow?
This is the energy.
Oh, I don't know.
What's
The
yours,
thing-
Willow?
the thing is, when I think, I'm like thinking, oh, Man City, Arsenal. I've just got flashback in my mind, and I hate it. It's
Do you have
We haven't
2015
scored in the
on
league
that?
since
run back
2019, by the way. Just
Run
for
back the
peeps.
Cazorla masterclass.
Say that again?
3-1.
We haven't scored against them in the league since 2019.
but that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, we're missing so many people as well.
Oh my! Wait, that was the same as. Oh no, that wasn't.
Yeah.
United haven't scored against us in the league since 2019.
Yeah, but we have the opposite problem with City.
Yeah. Well, the numbers tell you that. The numbers tell you that it's bound. It's coming. Arsenal beating City is coming.
We've
The
built
same
up
way
XG.
Sorry,
Arsenal-
go ahead, Willow. I interrupted. So, what's your final
Yeah.
go for?
The thing is, I guess they don't have a striker out, so I'm not going to say we're going to get banged, but I think I'm going to say,
Man said banged. Jesus.
yeah, I think I'll go 2-0 City, because there's a forfeit, isn't there, for this? I'm not going to be the
I'm changing
current
mine.
and go 3-1.
No,
blah, blah,
we're
blah.
counting 3-0. You said 3-0.
Yeah, you said-
That was your instinct,
right, so,
right?
yeah,
Can I-
mine's
You
2-0.
can't, the show's not over. Let me change it.
No.
No.
I was gonna. Okay. For
Big
the record,
brother, we're gonna big
Yeah.
brother this. So
for
me,
the record,
it's
I was 17 and for the record, they didn't let me change it. So I'm saying 3-0
Yeah.
Arsenal. Yeah.
3-0.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count according to George.
I mean, yeah, if you want to change it to 3-0 Arsenal, mate, you can go ahead, actually.
All I'm saying is since I've said my prediction, this is endemic of social media culture. The people have heard that I've said 3-1 Arsenal, and we've gained like
No, we're not
15
putting that in the
viewers.
clip. We're not putting that in the clip.
No,
though.
but we've since I said 3-1 Arsenal, it's raised like 15 viewers. Hello, new 15 viewers. This is just endemic,
Yeah,
endemic
subscribe to
of.
the channel.
So let's round up again. So I'm on a serious note. I'm 2-1, and I don't think it's close as the score lines. I think it's just a pity, really crap. But we will get a goal. I think we do get a goal. Yeah, but very crappy game.
3-0.
Willow, you're
I'm 2-0 City.
2-0.
Reluctantly.
All right, Chris, you can change if you want. What do you want?
I don't want to risk it. I don't need no forfeit, man.
10 seconds.
I just don't. Karen, you go. Let me.
3-1 City done. 3-1 Arsenal. Sorry, 3-1 Arsenal. Sorry,
yeah.
3-1 Arsenal.
Okay, Chris, you're up, man.
I'm sticking to it.
3 losses and 1 goal. It's not great, but that's my prediction.
I'm gonna risk it.
Mhm.
2-1 Arsenal. I don't even believe this.
So we've got the optimists and the pessimists.
I don't even
Unreal.
believe this, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say 2-1 Arsenal.
He doesn't believe his own scoreline, so
He doesn't. He doesn't. I really don't believe it. I just don't know what it is.
Welcome to Edgy Opinion FC.
It's because when we played Chelsea, even though I said we'd win, I felt we'd lost because it was bound to happen. We beat them 3 times in a row. There always comes a time when that has to change, innit? Last year we changed it with Chelsea and United. So this year I think we changed it with City and Liverpool.
You know what? If City wouldn't have lost against Spurs, I would have maybe thought, okay, yeah, maybe we could do like a little something. But because they've already made that loss, I just think the league's so strong this year that they have to go all like they can't.
And their main man against us is even there. De Bruyne always turns up against us.
That's true. That is true.
Roberto Martinez confirmed he's out. Imagine he plays. If he plays, I'm going to be livid because Martinez said he's out. But it is what it is.
It is.
My prediction doesn't change what it is.
Awesome. So they're all out there, guys. Leave a comment about your score predictions as well, kind of in the comments what you actually think. We had a little bit of fun with it, but in reality, we'd love to know yours. Maybe you guys can keep up your own little point system because we're going to keep track throughout the season on who was right and who was wrong.
Not everyone did it last week.
Yeah, so we may have to just start once, but we'll keep track from now on, and we have a lot of content coming up for you guys. So we're gonna. I know we've talked about the Ramsdale debate, but we're absolutely going to get that done. We've also got our game recap on City, but also towards the end of the transfer window, I think we all kind of discussed that we would do one of the Bob Spaces. We're going to do a little return. So after the deadline, we can all discuss the moves that we think would happen, and we've got some exciting stuff planned, hopefully, for the international break. So keep with you. Thanks for the new watchers. Please, I guess, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow us at BopFooty on Twitter. And, of course, over here, we're pushing to get a little bit higher on our subscribers. So please, if you love the content, show us the love. And thank you so much.
Yeah, George has got a lot better at that.
He's doing well. But like before we do go, I'm just gonna say this. The more I know, I felt ridiculous saying it, but the more I think about it, it just feels like it's one of those games that you just don't predict. Like it just feels like something feels wrong. Something feels very, very wrong. Like it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a very like typical we know what's gonna happen game.
I really hope. So I'm gonna let everybody shout them out. So Nom.
Guys, as I said, I hate predicting scores, man. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I just want a positive result. And I just hope that fans understand the context of the game and what we're going into, because I don't think they have in the first 2 games, even though the information came out later with the Brentford game. So I just think I can't deal with meltdowns in the timeline. Right? I just need people to be sensible and understand that it's a big season. It's more important that we get the right players in through the transfer window for me. And then it's about what we do with those players.
I can't wait for my return on Tuesday. I cannot wait. It's going to be so funny because everyone is melting down. Everyone is melting. I'm so glad I'm not on right now because at the moment I can just imagine what it's like. Yeah. People, especially with the Ronaldo news, like, oh my God.
On the Ronaldo news, with like stuff like this, next week and maybe the week after, we're going to be like deep diving into all the big 6 teams, start to the season and the transfer window. So obviously United.
I'm just glad it's over, man.
Sancho, Varane, Ronaldo, and all this stuff. Yeah. So next week and the week after, we're really going to look at the window and update our predictions.
Maybe Hour and DCL. You never know. It could happen. You never know. I'm not gonna. I don't know anything. Okay, calm down. But it could happen.
Shout yourself out before we go.
Curran nicely put me put my Twitter handle in my bar, my little.
I got you, bro.
My little display name. So yeah, the one Willow. Thank you. Follow me on Twitter and follow the Ball Over Passion Twitter as well.
And we will do Yo-Yo, by the way. We will do at the end of the window. I don't have a Twitter right now, which is kind of weird, but I will be back for deadline day. But I've never had a deadline day on Twitter as well. And we will revisit our predictions at the end of the window. But yeah,
want to say we're not going to come top 4, man. I know what you want, bro.
A lot of people have been messaging me to tell me to delete the predictions I posted on Twitter. But like, if I delete it now, then like it's just a bit like disingenuous.
No, why are we going to delete it? I'll address it right now. We always said that we were going to revisit our predictions at the end of the
Yeah.
transfer window. Much of those was under the promise of transfer rumors, and at the end, we'll make our transfer predictions, like we said, with everyone's final teams. We'll put them out in public nature as well, if there's any changes, and we'll know that more basically on the 31st. So, but yeah, you can follow me at GeorgeV_AFC. Follow the Bot Footy on Twitter, and of course, Ball Over Passion. Please, guys, like, comment, subscribe. And boost up those likes because I think it's a little bit light. I know we can do a little bit better. So yeah.
What happened to our no tech robot? He's doing so well. I'm
Gotta
so
stop
proud of
interrupting.
you. I'm so proud of you. I'm gushing right now. It's amazing. But yeah,
PRCKK on Twitter.
and PrivArsenal_Z as well.
And
But
Ball
yeah.
Over Passion on TikTok.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, get us to 550 subs. And we'll be live tomorrow reviewing the game.
All right, let's do this. Okay.